Welcome to this week's Fighter Team. Today, in this episode, we're going to talk about something very important: repair and maintenance. Now, for my target audience, you might not have considered this. And when I keep talking about you should go and spend some time in armor before you spend money on armor, not only should you do that so that you know how armor moves and feels and what you do and do not want protected, but also so you know what maintenance is required. For those that are a little bit out of my target audience, for those of you that are more established fighters, just going to point out with this pandemic, not being able to do stuff, you know whether or not you've been forgetting and sliding on your maintenance. And just because you haven't been wearing that gear doesn't mean it's not rusting and molding and falling apart in your armor bag. So if you haven't been taking care of it, maybe you should. Now, I might end up doing this entire video in one take, because we're gonna see. One of the important things to factor in is you need to know yourself. You need to know how much maintenance you are realistically going to do. I myself have almost no leather in my kit because I know I'm not going to condition that leather, I'm not going to polish that leather, I'm not going to go and dry it off when I'm done. When it dies, I'm just going to throw it away. So the only leather in my kit is the gloves inside of my gauntlets. And when they get too mungy, nasty, gross, I tear them out of my gauntlets and I put new gloves in. Because that's me. There is no metal that can rust in my kit besides my helmet. And I paint that every year so I don't have to do rust maintenance. Because I know I'm not going to do it. That's why my kit is made out of plastic. But anything that can rust will rust. Anything that can mold will mold. Things that cannot rust will still rust. Stainless steel will rust if you beat it up enough and don't take care of it. Ask me how I know. Well, I know because I've heard, more experienced fighters talk about how they started getting rust on their stainless steel whatevers. And in that vein, anything and everything that could possibly break and then some will break. And most likely at an event, just before you're supposed to step on the field. So preventative maintenance is a big thing. But the other thing to think about is repair. Every good Skadian fighter has a repair kit. And you should probably consider putting a repair kit together for yourself. Because nothing is worse than having your stuff break and not having the capability to fix it and get back on the field. And while there is a lot of kindness in strangers to be able to rely upon, if your armor needs something, it's much better to be able to go to your kit and grab it. If your armor's got rivets, have the tools to set rivet. For your repair kit, anything that is specific to your armor, if your armor is chainmail, have some extra links and the tools to tighten up some links. If your armor runs off of a lot of rivets, have a rivet setter, have something to use as an anvil, have some rivets, have a hammer. Those are the very, get what you specifically need for your armor. But on top of that, duct tape, 2 colors, so that way if necessary you can remark a weapon, yours or somebody else's, and so that you can tape armor back on. It's not an event until somebody's been taped into their armor. I know a knight who I'm not going to name, who, as of the last time I fought against him, just habitually taped on his carpet armor kidney belt. Because he never bothered, in years of wearing it, to strap it. So, always bring duct tape. Paracord. It's amazing how often paracord can come in the clutch. A lot of armor is historically held together by leather lacing, but if it gets you or somebody else on the field by just quickly cutting and melting some paracord and tying a knot, it gets them on the field. They can worry about historical accuracy when they get it home. And zip ties. I have parts of my armor that I repaired on the side of the tournament field with zip ties and paracord that 2 years later are still repaired with that same zip tie and paracord. my gauntlets have semi-permanent repairs in paracord. And when they chew through the paracord, I just replace the paracord. Which leads into another thing. If you have a piece of armor that habitually breaks and gets destroyed for whatever reason, you may want to consider having a spare of that. I have some hand problems, and we had to make some weird compromises on my gauntlets to protect my hands. And what that really boils down to is I am constantly having problems with the thumb assemblies on my left gauntlet. Not only is it kind of janky and jury-rigged to get around the fact that my thumb moves weird, but the way I fight, that gets hit a lot of blocks bounce right into that thumb. So that thumb comes off all the time. So I have in my armor kit 2 pairs of gauntlets. So when my gauntlet breaks, I can toss it in the armor bag and fix it later. And remember, we want to kill our friends, not hurt them.